that was insightful. Ahead, what some are calling a new example of conservative censorship after NBC apparently encouraged Google to go after
new accusations of censoring conservatives, Google banning right-leaning financial blog Zero Hedge from its ad platform and warning the Federalist it could be next. The tech giant claiming posts in comment sections violated its policies. The move apparently coming after NBC News influenced Google to take action. And Republicans are responding with a new bill that would allow Americans to sue big tech companies over political censorship. The DOJ is proposing new rules to limit internet companies' liability protections. Greg, I wanted to start with you. You've been in so many formats of media throughout the years. What is your take on all this?
Well, I think this is how the woke crowd works. If you can't win in the field of ideas, you contact companies and report what you believe to be offensive material. The companies don't want the hassle, so they operate on a hair trigger. They'll do anything to comply with this mob, and it actually is a fairly effective means of silencing speech. Now, people will say this isn't silencing speech at all because Google's a private company, it's a company. It's not a government, and nobody's telling you what not to say. But the fact is, if your career and livelihood is at the mercy of an intolerant woke activism, then it is silencing speech. It is harming you. And this is actually spreading out. And it's really frightening because you can see how the media avoids data and statistics about law enforcement in favor of polling. Remember, polling aren't facts. Those are gauging feelings. But stats tell you about behavior, and we're not hearing about statistics because the media is so cowardly about it. They see statistics as a third rail straight to being canceled or being ruined. And it's a travesty because we need to know the facts in order to push the ball forward on issues like law enforcement, and instead we're stuck in like emotion and symbolism and virtue signaling.
Dana, what are your thoughts on that new Senate bill?
So I think one of the things, I think that Google got suckered by an NBC media hoax, right? So they have somebody calling around saying, hey, have you seen this in your comments? And like, oh, no, we haven't seen it. And then, as Greg said, they were on a hair trigger, and then they had a major public relations screw up. So that leads to the fact that you have on the left, like AOC, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she wants the tech companies to be regulated because she thinks they don't do enough to suppress speech that they don't like. On the other hand, you have someone like Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri on the right, saying we want to regulate the tech companies so that they won't censor people on the right. So it's weird. Hawley and AOC kind of want the same thing, but for very different reasons. And the Congress, I believe, has had a little bit of a light touch when it comes to regulating the internet and big tech companies because we like the innovation, we like the freedom. I think we still like the First Amendment. But actions like what happened yesterday, or like the concern that there was an action about to be taken against somebody, raises everybody's hackles. And I do think that the tech companies are looking at some sort of big reconciling in D.C. coming soon.
Jesse, how do you read all this, especially the reaction to the comments, not initial content?
Can we defund the speech police, Emily? I mean, that's the only police that the Democrats like. I'm really sick of these narcs, the snitches, the control freaks, these intellectual lightweights that can't handle debate. They have to destroy you instead. Just think about what they're doing to the president on Twitter, or any conservative on Twitter. You say something, boom, you're canceled. I mean, they sue the president to stop his rallies. They don't want to take the task force briefings. You know, they boycott Fox News, they boycott businesses, they boycott restaurants. You can't even say anything anymore. All lives matter is now racist. Cops' lives matter is now racist. They could barely handle Merry Christmas. Remember radical Islam? Oh my God, you can't say that. You can't say anything anymore. I mean, they're coming after the clothes you wear. You can't wear the MAGA hats. Can't even wear a T-shirt. You have to apologize. You like the anthem? Can't say that. Got to apologize for that too. Or how about the statues? They're tearing down the statues, getting rid of movies, getting rid of mascots, logos, history. Pretty much everything the left doesn't like, they need to erase. This is just a cultural revolution right now, bigger than a culture war. And anything that they disagree with, they want to wipe out. They want to bankrupt you. They want you fired. Hell, I mean, if you work for the president, they throw you in prison. And while everybody's so intimidated and scared by the mob, the left is seizing more and more power all over the country. They're not going to be satisfied until they have absolute control. And anything they don't like about this country, they want gone. And the scary thing is, they don't like a lot about this country. So it's all on the table for them. And people better start realizing right now, this is a fight. Because right now, everything is on the table for destruction.
Mm-hmm. Juan, can you speak to Jesse's points, especially the one about the cancel culture and about how there are certain conservative principles or even symbols that really have been considered totally alt-right and have now been, essentially completely canceled by the left? Speak to that, please.
Oh, sure, Emily. Well, I mean, look, I'm a big free speech advocate. You know, I've been fired for speaking my mind. And here on the 5, I don't think there are any muzzles. People can say what they want to say, and we go at it pretty good. But I do think that in this case, you're talking about a private company. And there's no First Amendment protection for a private company. They can select what voices, what opinions they want to feature on their platforms. That's America, that's the law, and they have that right. And I don't think that we can say, you must hear this, you must hear that. And of course, in response to what Jesse was saying, I think that there are offensive symbols and materials that other people, let's say the Germans, they don't have statues to Hitler. There's a reason for that. Yet we have Confederate statues to people who were traitors to this country, to America, who wanted to break us apart. I think that's an indication of something out of balance. So, to my mind, I may sound like the conservative here, but I think that private... Hang on, let me finish, please. I just think that when we think about private companies, again, sounding like a conservative, I think we should stay out of the business of private companies making decisions that are best left to them and their shareholders.
Yeah, those decisions only affect conservatives, though. That's the issue, Juan.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Biggest media companies in America, Wall Street Journal, Fox News, Rush Limbaugh. Oh,
everybody knows
they're
it.
censored?
You
Come
know
on,
it.
Jesse.
The audience knows it. Conservatives are targeted by big tech.
Oh, you can't get conservative opinion in America?
We have to go. All right, we have to save this for the next block, you guys. Coming up, this one is not going to land well. The new airline regulation that's got
details from